Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience, part 31 of the Pokemon Emerald walkthrough. Gonna be leaving Lily Cove City. Glad that we got to spend at least a little bit of time within this area, not as much as we had previously thought, but hey, some towns, they come, they go, you call it a day. In this part, we are actually going to be looking to make our way over to Moss Deep City, and originally I thought that was going to take a little bit longer at first, but then come to find out, wow, actually it's a really short distance, not that many trainers to go against really. We're only going to be going against 6 total trainers on our way over to Moss Deep City. Of those 6, one of those does include a double battle. Not this one particular. I actually had to restart the recording for this part 3 times over because of this battle. Not because I lose it, but because the female swimmer always kept juking me out, making me think that I was just about ready to get into the double battle, and then looked away at the very last second that I was in a single battle. Now you think, okay, that's probably not a huge deal, but because I knew that getting to Moss Deep City wasn't going to be nearly as long as I had originally thought, I was like, okay, well, we need to add a little bit more to this part, and the way to do that is by trying to finish up what we are currently on, route number 124, finish it up as relatively quick as we possibly can. So doing the double battle instead of 2 single battles, that kind of helps out with it. This part's are going to be a little bit long as it is. I believe it's a total of around 23 minutes or so. And again, originally this was only supposed to be Route 124. I didn't know how short Route 124 actually was for some reason. I thought it was a little bit bigger than this, that I had to go at least 8 to 10 trainers. But no, we're only going to be going against 6. And because we have the time for it, to make it a little bit longer, we're actually going to be going against the Moss Deep City gym leader in this one. Okay, so yeah. After a little bit of some stalls here and there and not a whole lot going on, we're going to have ourselves another gym fight. And one that's very interesting compared to other gym battles we've done up to this point. And we'll get to that when we get to that in numerous ways. You know, some people probably already know the main way. If you don't, you'll find out eventually. But then the other way is, well, what happens during the fight? It's really quite something from my end. But before we go into all of that, let's go over our stats for route number 124. If you are surfing in all parts, you have a 60% chance for a Tentacool with a 35% chance as a Wingull and a 5% chance as a Pelipper. If you are fishing with the Old Rod, it is a 30% chance for a Tentacool and a 70% chance for a Magikarp. Good Rod gives you a 20% chance for a Tentacool with a 60% chance for a Magikarp and 20% chance for a Whalmer. And with the Super Rod, it is a 40% chance for a Sharpedo with a 60% chance it is a Whalmer. I believe that they are the exact same stats as Lily Cove City. It would make sense. They're connected all to the same water, but sometimes some stats could be a little bit different. I don't believe in Emerald they are. Whatever the water is connected to, town-wise or city-wise, is what it's going to be for that routes of water anyways. Because of that, when we make our way over to Moss Deep City, it's the same exact thing. All the stats are relatively the same. So, not even relatively, they're 100% the same. The only difference is that out here on Route 124, once you learn the move Dive, then you start going to the underwater portions of it. We will be coming back to do that. I'll go over the stats for them again, but I might as well get them out of the way right now in case you already have the move Dive and are just coming back to check this on out. If you dive underwater, you have a 30% chance of running into a Chinchou with a 65% chance it's a Clampert and a 5% chance it's a Relencanth. And that's it. Relencanth was a very interesting Pokemon that I never really understood the value of. I never understood the value of a water rock type Pokemon because electric is still going to destroy it just as easily, and because electric are more special style attacks instead of physical style attacks, and rock is more known for being bulky in the defensive side and not the special defensive side, what am I gaining out of having a rock water type? I didn't understand it with that other Pokemon in Gen 2 whose name completely just escaped me there for a second. It's that little coral under reef Pokemon, whatever. But same with Relencanth. I don't understand what the appeal of having a water rock type is in general. Maybe it's just me. Again, a lot of it's because of the fact that I just don't understand rock types to begin with. Yes, I am running one, but I still don't understand running them half the time. I'm only running my Soul Rock because of the fact that it also has a Psychic as well. So whatever. Sue me, I guess. I don't know. Not really much else goes on until we actually do reach Moss Deep Moss Deep City. The only other thing that I can actually think to talk about right now is on route number 124. You can see on the side right over there, there's two parts of land in here, but one that's actually more interesting in the fact that there is a house on that land. Within that house, I guess, I can't remember what the guy's name is called, but it's some kind of treasure hunter or something like that. Once you get the ability dive and you start exploring the underground portions of the ocean, you know, the real deep, I guess, you can start collecting different colored shards. With those shards, you will then take them up to the collector himself, the treasure hunter, as he calls himself, or whatever it is that he calls himself anyways, and you will exchange those shards for evolutionary stones. And that's not something I'm going to be going out of my way to do because I don't need any of the evolutionary stones. I might do it once I get the different colored shards just to showcase it, but it's not like something I really need at the moment. But if you're wondering where in this game that you had to go out of your way to get these evolutionary shards, evolutionary stones, you gotta wait till you get the move dive to get the color shards and then go from there. And with that, there's actually one more thing that I did want to talk about that I completely forgot about until just now. Here we are. So a couple parts ago, I remember making a notion to the fact that I did not know that in the department store you actually have had a move tutor that could teach you the move substitute, because that's something that doesn't usually appear when you're trying to search for items within an area. Another thing I found out is that there's going to be some items in cities that are hidden away inside in particular buildings and houses that I was very unaware of, including Moss Deep City. If you go into, as Scott's going to be talking about here, this time we're the weird ones talking to him. I guess it's kind of like one of those Stockholm Syndrome things. The guy stalks us so much to the point where it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I just want to start talking to him all of a sudden. A little bit weak. Well, a little bit weird. By the way, Stockholm Syndrome is not based on... The word of it doesn't come from the word stalking. It actually comes from what I think was Stockholm, Delaware. That whole entire hostage situation. So, yeah, there's a little bit of information for you guys there. But anyways, I remember talking about the fact that I did not know that there was a move tutor there and that I need to go on my way to find out where all the move tutors were. Aside from the one guy that if you give him a heart scale, he will teach you a move you once learned, your Pokemon could once learn that they forgot, or something, I don't know exactly how to word it really. But these are tutors that can teach you one move one time. Think of them as a TM, but you have to go out of your way to find the person instead of the item. There's a bit of them scattered throughout the entire Hoenn region, and there's none of them of which I'm actually going to be using. So, you know, I guess that's kind of why I never really cared as much. But I took a look through and I'm like, okay, maybe there's some here that I could use. And some of these are good moves, but just ones I don't plan on using myself. But because we're in the gym right now, starting to go through this in a double battle, let's go ahead and talk about these free move tutors. So, if you want to learn the move Double Edge, you got to go to Suitopolis City. Blech. Place we haven't been to yet, so when we get there, you know, we'll kind of go over it again. Here in Moss Deep City, you can talk to somebody and learn Dynamic Punch in Passifidlog? What the hell city is that? Whatever. Pelog, whatever, city, town, whatever. You can learn the move Explosion. In Venderturf Town, you can learn Fury Cutter. Fallborough Town, you can learn Metronome. Lava Ridge Town, Mimic. Mauville City, Rollout. Fortree City, Sleep Talk. Lily Cove City, Substitute. And Slateport City, Swagger. Again, that's only if you really want any of those moves. So Double Edge, Dynamite Punch, Explosion, Fury Cutter, Metronome, Mimic, Rollout, Sleep Talk, Substitute, and Swagger. Again, none of those I really plan on using with my current team. A lot of the times I'm mostly looking just to try and one-hit my opponent. Dynamic Punch has too much of a missing opportunity. Fury Cutter takes way too long to build up. I can't imagine I want any of my Pokemon to explode because that's going to just take way too much time. Double Edge I've never really liked as a move all that much. Rollout as well as Fury Cutter takes too long to build up. Metronome's all over the place. Mimic is a really bad move. Sleep Talk's good, but there's a lot of setup you need for it. I'd much rather just take out my opponent in one hit in the game. Substitute, again, setup, not something I really want to do. Swagger's pretty good, but there's too much of a risk of giving your opponent too strong of attacks. So, I guess take that how you will. Okay, later on, when we get to the battle frontier, there's also going to be some more move tutors, but those ones are going to cost certain battle points. One thing I do want to mention, somebody did ask me in a couple comments, I believe, do I plan on doing the Battle Frontier? Yes, I do in fact plan on doing the Battle Frontier. How well I'll do at it, I'm not exactly sure. But we'll see. One of the reasons why I've skipped out on doing the battle tents to this point, there was 3 of them, Slateport, Vendor Turf, and Fallborough Town. Those 3 battle tents, I have not done them yet, because the thing that I plan on doing when it comes to the battle tents and the Battle Frontier, I actually plan on doing those live. I'm not going to be doing those post-commentary, because those to me are extras, really. If you do the battle tents, yes, you can get 1 item out of it, out of each of them. I think one of them gives you a hyper potion, one gives you like a net ball or something. I don't even, what, a full heal or something like that on the 3rd one. They're not really ones that are really worth going out of the way during the walkthrough to showcase those. I probably should have made mention that there are items you can get within there. That was the more professional thing to do, but I am anything but that, as you guys probably already know by now. But I do plan on going back and actually doing all the battle tents and the Battle Frontier. But I plan on doing those live because those can be relatively fun. The battle tents specifically because of the fact that you don't get to use your own Pokemon. You got to use rented Pokemon. And that's where I really have to go on my way and be like, okay, what moves do they have? What types do they have? You know, that's like more of like the competitive nature of me, where it's like, oh, hey, I got to make sure that I have a good move list for this. I don't know what my opponent's going to be using. I don't even know what I'm going to be using. Let's see what moves they have. Let's see what their stats are, and let's just kind of go from there. That to me is fun to do live, because I don't need to pre-prep anything for that. I just go in and I do it. I think there are some, it's been forever since I did the Battle Frontier, but I believe there are some things in the Battle Frontier where I can use my own actual team. But even then, I never know what my opponents are going to use. So there's nothing I can pre-prep for. I just go in and I do it, and I see, can I beat them or can I not? And we'll just kind of go from there. And that, I think that's going to be more fun to do live anyways. Not so much that I'm going to be doing it on Twitch or anything like that. I'm still going to kind of keep it separate, do it myself, and kind of go from there. There is something I do plan on doing on Twitch, hopefully sometime soon. I'm not exactly sure. There's a game coming out that I've been really looking forward to playing, that I kind of been wanting to stream. I do still plan on streaming some Pokemon sometime in the future. I'm still trying to get a lot of timing stuff, you know, set aside so that I can actually do something like that. I need to get more upgraded specs for my computer, because it can only handle so much, and I'm finally able to actually get a good enough income to do something like that at some point in the future, hopefully. So yeah, Pokemon will be streaming again. I haven't given up looking to do that just yet, because I really do want to do another randomizer Nuzlocke. I started doing it for, I believe it was Fire Red, and then just stuff at work started happening that everything had to get changed around, and I was more tired, and just a whole bunch of excuses, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I stopped doing it. I'm not done trying to do it, though. But a certain game is coming out that I do want to go to my way and stream quite a bit of, but I got to make sure if there is an NDA for it or not just yet, because it's still relatively new coming out. We're getting a closed beta coming out actually this weekend, and if there is no NDA, then I'll probably be looking to stream this weekend, this particular game. So be on the lookout for that if you are interested. I'm assuming a lot of people aren't. Most people that watch this are here for either Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon, and it has nothing to do with any of those. So I wouldn't blame anybody that watches this thinking, I don't think I want to catch him doing something that's not related to this. I totally get that, you know, but I do plan on doing some Pokemon streaming sometime in the future. I just don't know when. I just want to get a lot of things upgraded first, get other stuff figured out, and this upcoming game, I want to see if it's even something I want to stream anyways. But right now, I don't want to put too much on my plate. I've done it in the past. I burnt myself out because of it. I gotta make sure that things are in line and in order for it first. Okay, so we'll look to that. But if this game doesn't have an NDA on it and they're okay with me streaming it even though it's in a closed beta, then be looking out for me this upcoming weekend, because I'm gonna be playing nothing but it this weekend, let me tell you. But yeah, doing the Battle Frontier, all the battle tents, that's something I plan on doing on the side, because it just, I don't know, it seems fun to do that live, because anything can happen, and it's more fun to get my reactions from it that way. That's why I want to do the Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke so bad. That was fun because random things would happen. I'd be going against, what is that thing called? Spinda, I guess. I wasn't going against a Spinda. What was I going against? I think I was going against a Clefairy, and it used the move Fire Blast on me. And I was like, oh my god, why is this thing using Fire Blast on me? It's a Clefairy. Well, it's because it's completely random, you know, and it was really funny because so many things just caught me off guard, took me by surprise. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to with the Battle 10 and the Battle Frontier. A lot of things are going to catch me off guard, take me by surprise. You guys can get my live reaction to stuff like that. So we're holding off until then for it. Okay. But one thing that you guys are probably noticing, now that we've discussed all of that side stuff and we're back into the gym, we've been doing a lot of double battles here. There really hasn't been any single battles. Now, there can be single battles if you either mess up how to move the switches to do the double battles, or if you just want to go against these people 1v1. But if you do it right, every single one of them is a double battle. A little bit strange, huh? And I also went on my way and got rid of Magneton and put in Sableye. Well, obviously that's because, as you can tell, there's a lot of psychics going around. They're everywhere right now. We got to do something about this. So this is basically Sableye's gym. This is where Sableye is perfect. This is a psychic gym. Sableye's immune to it. Not really much else that can hit Sableye. We just learned Shadow Ball, which has been a huge stat move for Sableye. We can pretty much one-shot almost everything except for when it counts the most. But more specifically, so again, we're going to be having a very interesting gym fight coming up. Interesting in the fact that it's different. Interesting in the fact that, well, let me just kind of wait until we actually get to there, because these are the last two trainers that we have to go against. We'll be going against the gym leader relatively soon. So these switches, not only do they serve a purpose as far as battling the certain trainers in a certain way, doing the doubles, but they're also a little puzzle in their own right. As you can see, I messed up that puzzle because I needed it to be open on the far left, so you got to hit it some amount of times, wrap around, all that. Little bit of a mistake. It happens every now and then. But if you saw earlier in the other room, there was the green switch, and I moved that ahead of time. That's because you need to move that in order to open up the pathway in order to get to the gym leader. And as we head to the gym leader, what makes it interesting is there's two. Why are there two gym leaders? Well, because this is our first ever gym leader tag team match, really. And this is a hard one. Not just because of how I mess things up. Yes, this is what makes it very interesting. I mess up entirely on this. But it's not just because of that. This is just a relatively hard fight. Because Claydol and Xatu were perfectly well together, because Claydol, being part ground type, has access to the move Earthquake. Xatu's not going to be dealing with Earthquake whatsoever. So before we go into all of that, Claydol, level 41, Earthquake, Ancient Power, Psychic, and Light Screen, and Xatu, Psychic, Sunny Day, Confuse Ray, and Calm Mind, both level 41. Where I messed up was that Magneton was supposed to be going in with Sableye instead of Vibrava. Because the plan was, I was going to use Fake Out on Claydol so that I didn't have to worry about the Earthquake, and then have Magneton use Thunderbolt on Xatu for an easy in out. You get it, you get on out. Problem was, I forgot to make the switch. I was too focused on what I was gonna, I was too focused on just getting to the gym leader that I completely forgot all about the strategy I had going into it. And so because of that, we're two Pokemon down. What the heck are we gonna be doing? Luckily, my team's a relatively well-built team, and Sableye is just so insanely busted that it's it doesn't go so bad. Obviously, this is making it to YouTube. I win, but it's relatively not the best way to win. So Milotic we're going to be throwing out here because we have access to the move Surf, and that's going to help us in a lot of cases. More so than I would have thought, because Claydol actually faints to this. I did not expect Claydol to actually faint to the Surf, so I got relatively lucky on that. I didn't care how little damage it did to Xatu, because Sableye is capable of taking it out no problem. Next up, we have ourselves Solrock, level 42, with Sunny Day, Solar Beam, Psychic, and Flamethrower. Having the ability to use Levitate, you don't want to take out Xatu first. Always take the Claydol out first. Claydol is going to be the biggest problem you have to deal with. Solrock does have the Citrus Berry. Not the worst thing in the world, though. And again, because we want to use Milotic because we'll have access to the move Surf. Really good for dealing with Solrock, Claydol as well. But that's where Xatu comes in, is like, hey, I have access to the move Sunny Day. Because Solrock has Flamethrower and Sunny Day in his own right, but because we know you're going to be using Surf against us, so we're just going to put you to a stop right then and there. Too bad Xatu can't really do much about good old Sableye. That's my boy right there. Alright, so finally we have ourselves Lunatone here. Also has the ability Levitate. Level 42, Light Screen, Psychic, Hypnosis, and Calm Mind. Really, the biggest problem that we have to deal with here is Soul Rock, because this allows access to the move Flamethrower and Solar Beam, especially with Sunny Day out. So we got to be very careful on potentially Sableye having to deal with that. I really thought that Water Pulse would be enough to take out Soul Rock. A little bit sad that I wasn't able to, but Milotic is also very bulky in its own right, so it can actually survive that, no problem. Sableye, on the other hand, not as bulky when it comes to dealing with a Sunny Day Flamethrower. He got relatively close right there. But let's go Blaziken, alright? So they're part Psychic, they're part Rock. So our Fighting type moves is going to do normal damage, as opposed to super effective damage. Not exactly great, but, and then obviously Hyper Potion, ugh. It kept getting worse and worse. I really thought I was going to lose here and have to go against them again. It'd be the first time I'd lose on any of these recordings. It would have been so sad. I had to deal with it nearly as much. But luckily for us, Blaziken is relatively high level and can actually take a hit or two. I don't think Blaziken even takes a Psychic, though. I believe they mostly focus on Milotic for some reason. Milotic, again, being a champ, taking a couple hits, getting a good amount of Surfs and Water Pulses in first and foremost. And yeah, we just got to try and roll it as quickly as we can. Again, this was the hardest gym I ever had to go against. No, I take that back. It's probably the second hardest gym I ever had to go against when playing any Pokemon game. Number one is still Whitney with that Milk Tank. I absolutely despise Whitney with that Milk Tank, 100%. Also, getting a crit was really lucky on Soul Rock, too. This was the second hardest gym fight I ever had to do. Tate and Lisa, the first time I played this game, I could not beat them. Claydol Xatu was such a strong duo combination with the abilities of Earthquake and Psychic that there was absolutely no chance that I would have stood a chance against them. I also sucked more Pokemon back then, but even so, I don't know. There was something about this duo that made it really hard. As you can see, they can hit really hard. Now again, I fucked up how I was going to do this match, but at the same time, it's like, well, okay, this makes it a little bit more interesting. In most cases with the gym leaders, I've mostly just been coming in and just taking them out, no problem. Sure, there's some setup like I had to do in some earlier gyms, but lately it's been more of a, let's just go ahead and take them out. This is a gym leader where I'm like, okay, because I messed up, I really have to think about what I'm going to be doing here now. And our big reward is we can finally get rid of that garbage move, Rock Tomb, and learn Rock Slide. A really good move for when it comes to duo battles, because Rock Slide, if it hits, does so much damage in a duo battle. So good. And yeah, there you go. That's Tate and Lisa. Again, tough matchup. If you come prepared correctly, it's not really all that hard to deal with. Having a good electric type to take care of Xatu. Having Sableye, in my opinion, with Shadow Ball is perfect for Claydol. Or if you can have another Pokemon that has the ability Levitate or is a flying type as well that can take care of Claydol. Once you take care of those two, having a good Water or Darkness or Ghost type is good for the Solrock and Lunatone. But again, that Claydol Xatu combination, I'll remember that forever because it destroyed me when I was younger. But with that said, that's the end of the part, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we will catch you all in the next part.